Good afternoon. I am Mayor Paul McDonald. I am the Mayor of Hagatña Heights. I am also the President of the Mayor's Council of Guam. Today, Mr. President William Jefferson Clinton, Governor Carl Gutierrez, Lieutenant Governor Madeline Berdalio, Congressman Underwood, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, the people of Guam. To begin this afternoon's historic event, allow me to introduce Mr. Julian Ogden to sing our national anthem, Mr. Joe Cunningham, who will follow after the Chamorro rendition of our anthem, and Ms. Stacy Guzman and Anna Concepcion to present the Guam hymn. Please allow them.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we once were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free, and the home of the brave?
Ko sinya uli gi sombran satan mak etzu ita saluda antes diu hum nigap Radzauds and malak estrezas durante em todo emu a nogi distância como gupu gipalu zaniman malak guafi Ikonuna sugi airi prebatu la noci nai banderata gaigi pues atan fani bandera kau esta pagua pumalalapan Anuiti Manko Badi.
Itanota, kantai matunanya itoru para honra, para gloria, aviva islas en para honra, para gloria, aviva islas en para todo el tiempo y paz para hita zangin ni langit na bendisyon kontra peligro na pansafuhan Zeus protehi islan Guam kontra peligro na pansafuhan Zeus protehi islan Guam standing Guamanians for your country and sing her praise from shore to shore for her honor, for her glory, exalt her island forevermore. For her honor, for her glory, exalt her island forevermore. May everlasting peace reign o'er us. May heaven's blessings to us come. Against all perils, do not forsake us. God protect our Isle of Guam. Against all perils, do not forsake us. God protect our Isle of Guam.
Let us give our vocalist, Dunklin Zuzmasi, with another round of applause. Beautiful. This afternoon, we gather here to welcome and listen to our President, the President of the United States, as he delivers a message to the people of Guam and the rest of the world from our island, our homeland, Guam. Guam, the tropical gem of the Central Pacific, the land of the warm and downright hot, even in the winter. Guam, the home of the hospitable and beautiful Chamorro people. American, Asian, and international, all in the same time zone. Guam, where we participate in elections like no place in the world. Where we take our politics and our rights very seriously. Guam, where the distance between a barbecue at the ranch and five-star hotels are both short drive and another world away. Guam, with the intensity of a big city and a kickback view of our blue oceans, clear skies, and where pristine jungles give us the best of all worlds. Guam, not just where American Day begins, but where our day begins and ends. Guam, the best island in the entire world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce and join me in welcoming our man to the Washington, Congressman Robert Underwood.
Si Diyos Masi, Mayor McDonough. Buenas. Buenas Danafade todos hamzo. It is my high honor and special privilege to stand on a podium in Guam with the President of the United States, our President, the Governor of Guam, our Governor, and the thousands of beautiful faces which have graced this glorious Guam Day, our people. Bonito na haani, gatbo na haani, mambonito na tauto, da mangistingi na bisita, memorias dan saludo para todos los hamzo, gwini na importante na okasyon. Kondonklo na respeto, gininit mas didok na sinientin minagos dan naman, motto yora, anay para ta aksepta gihalomitanota, gihalomitautauta, isenyor Presidente as William Jefferson Clinton. Manyay luhod at manyay naho, manatungoho, tadza parehunya este na okasyon. Matay Presidente, jahana anong nahagoftungo hadjihit, nahatungo paditinota, nahakomprendi sitwasyon ta, jan had respeta y eksperyensya ni manyay nata. Mayla jata fandanya, jata celebra ifinatonya gitanota, gianimoso na manera jan konminagov. Viva President Clinton! Viva President Clinton! Viva President Clinton! My dear people of Guam, we have witnessed many special events in our lives, and this is certainly amongst the most special. Mr. President, you have graced us with your presence, you have honored us with your words, and you have demonstrated that you are the President of all Americans. Whether they are overseas in Korea, in the streets of New York, in the farms of North Dakota or Montana, or residents of places like Guam. You know, Mr. President, I want to remind you that you did not get one single vote from any Guam precinct in 1992. And when you ran for re-election in 1996, you didn't get another one. As you know, we cannot vote for you, but we know through your presence that you understand the men and women and children who call you our president as much as any other American, even if they can't vote for you. And our people have proudly demonstrated their commitment to America in past wars through sacrifice and through service, and our own people in uniform today who know you to be their commander-in-chief, although they cannot cast a ballot with your name on it. But we know you are our president because when it came to dealing with federal excess lands, you signed the first and only federal legislation returning land to Guam in 1994. And when it came to helping us with Compact Impact Aid in 1995, you were our president because you supported efforts to a steady stream of funding to the year 2001. And this assistance has built gymnasiums and water and sewer systems in many parts of our islands. And when it came to increasing funds for education, for Medicaid, for children's health insurance, for cops on the street, for programs that we all benefit from, we know that you were our president because you included Guam in your plans, sometimes in the face of an indifferent Congress. You improved the lives of all Americans with your efforts, and you made sure that everyone who calls you our president was included. There was no prouder moment for me as a native of this island, as the beneficiary of the heroism and endurance of my parents and their generation who suffered during the dark days of World War II, than to witness you, our president, lay a wreath honoring the experience of our people of Guam. Yes, Mr. President, you are our president, and you have proved it over and over again by your actions, by your words, and by your respect of your fellow citizens here in Guam. But I would like to vote for you one day. After our political status is resolved. This is a big hint. And we move into the next American century on Guam in partnership with the federal government and with confidence and dignity. I don't know if you remember, Mr. President, that my wife, Lorraine, once told you that she could register in the States and vote for you in 1996. But that would mean that she couldn't vote for me. She said, you'll just have to do without that vote. And I needed the vote more than you anyways. But the reality is that no American citizen should have to choose between voting for their president and voting for their representation in Congress. My dear people of Guam, I'd like to report that I brought back enough M&Ms from Air Force One for everybody. Or that we'll get everything in Washington that we ever asked for, but both statements would be inaccurate. But I can say with the greatest confidence that this trip by President Clinton has not only brought our island into more prominence, it has given Guam issues attention which has previously been denied. We will get a fair hearing and fair treatment, and after all, that is all we ever really asked for. It is my privilege to bring to the podium the next speaker. He is a partner in President Clinton's work for our nation, and through his diligent efforts, he has made President Clinton take not just a passing interest in Guam's affairs, but made him a true friend. He was so intent on making sure that President Clinton made this trip to Guam, I fully expected him to be in the cockpit when I boarded Air Force One. In events of this nature, it is customary to recount the achievements of a major leader like our governor. But I prefer to talk about his strengths as a leader and as a navigator of our island through some very troubled times. In his first term of office, Governor Gutierrez faced more challenges than any other elected governor in our island's history. He had to deal with declining revenues caused by a downturn in the Asian economies, the devastation of and the worldwide attention caused by the tragedy of a major air disaster in August 1997. In each instance, his ability to lead and his capacity to deal with adversity was severely tested, and in each instance, he passed with flying colors. It has always been Carl Gutierrez's strength that adversity and challenges bring out the best in him, and we are indeed fortunate to have such a leader during these difficult times. Carl Gutierrez is a man marked by his tenacity, his hands-on approach to leadership, and his compassion and understanding of the conditions of ordinary Guamanians. He is driven by his love for Guam, and he is driven by his desire to make our name prominent in the region. He is our governor. He is our island's leader, the Honorable Carl T.C. Gutierrez.
Thank you very much, Congressman Underwood. Mr. President, my dear people of Guam, today is a very proud day for the 150,000 American citizens on Guam. It is certainly one of my proudest moments as governor to welcome you, Mr. President, to our shores. And while you have not left Asia, you've already come home to Guam, America's home in Asia. Throughout our history, despite our size, Guam has been a place where the forces that have shaped world history have intersected, have merged, and sometimes collided. A cascade of events, from Magellan's landing to the raising of the first American flag exactly 100 years ago, to the occupation of Guam during World War II, to our role in Vietnam, Korea, and the Persian Gulf Wars. All are a testament to the flow of world forces which have shaped our destiny and brought us to this point where our economic value has become as powerful as our strategic importance. Today we have matured into a showcase of democracy in Asia. The explosive growth in the region has resulted in a tourism industry that is the underpinning of our $3 billion economy. Mr. President, we are proud of what we have achieved under the American flag. And the key to our success has been our people. A native Chamorro people who reflect a shared ancestry with much of Asia and the Pacific, and who share an island world-renowned for hospitality, generosity, and beauty. An island which today we share with you, Mr. President. And as you deepen your understanding of who we are, we hope you will be able to see the extraordinary possibilities that await us in the coming millennium if the American dream is allowed to be fully realized. There are rich opportunities within our grasp if we are able to move from our colonial past into a future partnership that sets free the economic vitality locked up in land that must be returned. There is a brighter future for our children and grandchildren if we maximize our commercial and strategic potential as America in Asia. A potential that can only be realized if the political and economic constraints that inhibit us are removed. Just as dramatic as President Kennedy's liberating action in 1962, lifting military security clearance restraints on our civilian population and old visitors, which prevented personal travel and commercial investment, there is again an opportunity now, 36 years later, for a President of the United States to unlock the doors to a more fair and just future for Guam. A decade after President Kennedy's bold action, Guam saw our first tourists. A decade after that, we had built a billion-dollar economy. Now we turn to a president whom I truly believe has the will and the willingness to do right by his American brothers and sisters in Guam. Mr. President, you have proven something here today by making history with this visit. Your presence here is proof of something that I knew from the first moment I met you, that deep in your heart, you truly care about people. You care about the people of Guam. And if Guam has ever had the opportunity to move forward, it is now. Mr. President, you have long been an advocate for us in Washington, but being in Washington is not the same as being here on this island. You can be 10,000 miles away, but unless you step onto this hallowed ground, you cannot feel the vibrations and the patriotism. You cannot truly understand what it is we were, what we are, and what we could be. We know that if any president can work in partnership with Guam to realize the fullest potential of what America in Asia can be, it is you. But much more needs to be done. Most important is the attainment of a just and dignified political relationship for Guam and the Chamorro people's right to self-determination. For these 100 years under the American flag, we have taken to heart the high ideals of representative democracy. Today, we seek the ability to be embraced as full Americans with meaningful participation in the creation of the laws that govern our lives. Mr. President, we are nobody's constituency. Someone in Washington needs to stand up and do what is right by the Americans in Guam. And we firmly believe, Mr. President, that you are that person. This is what makes your visit here so special, not just because you came here, but because you cared to come here to see for yourself and meet for yourself your fellow Americans in Guam. Thank you. God bless you. Si Diyos un benindisi, and we continue to pray for you and the First Family. Now I would like to introduce two very special and talented young people who represent the future of our island, Mr. Mike St. Nicholas and Ms. Roseanne Aperon.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so proud to be up here because from this angle I can see a whole ocean of our island's people standing in support of the one man that has been supporting us in Washington. What does it take to be in charge? It takes power, but power does not equal greatness. Greatness can only be achieved with a good heart. Not only is President Clinton the most powerful man in the free world, he is the greatest man in the free world because he has a good heart. And I know this because we, the people of Guam, are living proof of this legacy. The Clinton administration, which works closely with our Governor Carl Gutierrez, was a key factor in our economic recovery. Today, we enjoy a comfortable standard of living, deeply rooted in a strong infrastructure. In spite of the unfortunate economic woes of our Asian neighbors, we continue to persevere here on the island of Guam. We are the jewel of the Pacific, and this man, President Clinton, is a big reason why we are such. Mr. President, on this island we judge our leaders by the way they serve the people. And you have served us unconditionally. That is a sign of greatness. That is a sign of compassion. You are the first president in the last 100 years to visit the island of Guam with the intention of better understanding the people. You are the first president in the last 100 years who believes that the island of Guam is deserved of recognition and respect. Mr. President, on this island, we honor our champions and we support our warriors. You have fought for the people of Guam, and I ask that you continue to do so. Mr. President, let us be your legacy. I would like to now introduce Ms. Rosanna Aparon.
Hafaday Tau Tau Guam! One of the most important questions that every president of the United States has asked themselves is, have I served the people to the best of my ability? I am sure that President Clinton has often asked himself the same question. And Mr. President, the answer to your question is, yes, you have. When William Jefferson Clinton began his first campaign for the presidency, his focus was on helping the hardworking Americans who make up the forgotten middle class. As a humble man who wanted to serve the people of his nation so desperately, he traveled far and near, meeting as many people as he could, and spent most of his time hearing their concerns. His aim was to take what they said and change things for the better when and if he had won the presidency. Just as he had hoped for and wished for, Bill Clinton became the 42nd President of the United States in 1992. For 4 years, Mr. President, you have worked hard on improving the nation. You let the worries of your people become nothing less than a mere thought of how life used to be yesterday. The Clinton administration has carried out its duties responsibly, effectively, and efficiently. The people of the nation were pleased with how you ran your administration, that in 1996 you were once again re-elected to hold your office. In setting the priorities of the nation, you have always kept the people first. Anything that has been asked of you, you have delivered to the people. When our very own Governor Gutierrez asked for help with the people of Guam, you delivered. When we needed emergency federal funds, it was given to us. When typhoons struck our island, federal aid was sent within a moment's notice. When faced with a problem and we turned to you for guidance and support, you have always been willing to serve and to help the people of Guam. The vast majority of the people of Guam have seen what you have done for us and have heard what you have done for the nation. Every single person that is here today is living proof that you have done your job to the best of your ability because they are your stamp of approval. Through your efforts, you have given Guam more than just a name. During the past 6 years of the Clinton administration, Guam has gained more and more recognition. Many presidents have come and gone, but there has never been any other president who stressed to the nation and to the world that Guam is where America's day begins, and that the people of Guam, a territory of the United States of America, are just as important as everyone else living on American soil. Guam is a symbol of the United States in this part of the world, and we are proud to have you as our leader of such a great nation. On behalf of the people of Guam, I would like to say, Sendunkulu Nasiduz Maasi. Thank you very much for all that you have done for our island. We hope that you continue to support us in all that we do, and that you never forget us, for we will never forget you. You truly are a servant of the people, and I wish you well in continuing to do your job to the best of your ability. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Zantodos Hamzu Niman Chamoru, it is with great honor and pleasure that I present to you the President of the United States, a symbol of hope and freedom.
Thank you. Thank you. Hapaday. Is that good, huh? What a wonderful day, what a wonderful welcome. I am delighted to be here. I want to thank Governor and Mrs. Gutierrez, Congressman Underwood, Lieutenant Governor Bordallo, Mayor McDonald, Speaker Upingo, and members of the legislature, Chief Justice, Tony Sanford, the visit host. I'd also like to acknowledge the young singers and one not so young singer who sang at the beginning. I thought they were quite wonderful, and I'm sure you did too. I want to say that I am joined today by 3 members of Congress: Senator Max Baucus from Montana, Congressman Earl Pomeroy from North Dakota, Congressman Neil Abercrombie from Hawaii, and they're glad to be here as well. Now, you heard Congressman Underwood say that he wished he could vote for me. And I was thinking, looking out at the ocean, looking at the bay, that I can't run for president again, and Governor Gutierrez can't run for governor again, and maybe I could come here and give Congressman Underwood a chance to vote for me for governor of Guam. Although I think that after the speeches Mike and Roseanne gave, I'll have to run before they're old enough to oppose me, or I wouldn't have a chance. I was sitting here thinking about all the things that you could say about Guam, but one of the things I didn't know, I heard Bob Underwood gave his great speech, Governor Gutierrez gave his great speech, Mike and Roseanne got up and gave great speeches. One thing you should promote is that if people come to Guam, you will teach them how to give great speeches. You may have people coming from all over the world. Let me begin my remarks with 3 simple words: my fellow Americans. Over the years of our administration, the First Lady and I have logged thousands of miles visiting many, many corners of America, trying to gain a greater understanding every day of the rich diversity of our nation. No president, however, can ever claim to have seen the breadth of America without coming here to our westernmost boundary. When the First Lady came here a couple of years ago, she came home and said, you know, you need to go to Guam, but if you go, you might not want to come back. Every single time I have seen either your governor or your congressman in the last several years, every single time they have asked me to come to Guam. Sometimes they have done more than asked. Sometimes they have insisted. Sometimes they have expected. We were about to get to the order stage before I cried uncle and said, I'm dying to come, and I will be there. I thank you for making me feel so welcome today, where America's Day begins. I would also like to say a special word of appreciation to the members of America's armed forces who are here with us today and for the service they give our country every day. I'm proud to be here in the centennial year of the relationship between Guam and the United States. Though 15 time zones and a vast ocean separate you from the mainland, you have played an important role in the history of America and in humanity's fight for freedom. A little over 50 years ago, Americans looked to Guam in our newspapers, on the radio, in the letters we received from our GIs, We knew then it was vital to the future of the world that the forces of freedom liberate this island. I have just had the great honor of paying my respects at the memorial to the people of Guam and to the American servicemen who lost their lives in the Second World War. I met there some Chamorro survivors and saw thousands of names etched on that very moving wall. I know behind each of those names, and in the history of so many families on this island, there is a tale of courage, sacrifice, patriotism, and honor. The people of Guam, though they had not yet been granted American citizenship, risked all to hide American soldiers during the occupation, defiantly sang American songs at home, secretly sewed their own American flags. Many paid for their patriotism with their homes, their liberty, their lives. 50 years ago, then, this island gave the world a precious and enduring gift, the chance for freedom and peace to triumph. And 50 years later, I want to say, on behalf of every American, thank you. Now I come here to ask you to look to the future, a very different future with new possibilities and new perils. I just came, as you may have noticed, from Japan and Korea, two countries with whom we have had very different relations over the last 50 years, both now our allies and partner for freedom, peace, and prosperity. In the last year, the economic tides that once broadened prosperity all across the Pacific have blown cold winds into the economies of Japan and Korea. They have been felt all the way to Guam and Hawaii. We have to work together with our friends to restore economic growth and opportunity and to continue to stand up for freedom, and we will. The challenges of this new century, the century in which the young people who introduced me will live most of their lives, will be different. There will be new risks and new opportunities. Here for you in Guam is for all Americans. For the past 6 years, I've worked hard to prepare America for the 21st century. And together, I want you to know that I am committed to make sure that we do everything we can to move forward into the new millennium with the people of Guam. First, we must work together to ensure that Guam reaps all the benefits of the post-Cold War world, beginning with the timely return of lands no longer needed by our military. 4 years ago, I was proud to sign Congressman Underwood's bill to return 3,200 acres of military land. I will see to it that the land is transferred to Guam as soon as possible. And I am happy to announce that we are also working to turn over another 7,300 acres, including the former Naval Air Station and ship repair facility. When I return to Washington, I will ask the new Congress to simplify and expedite the process through which excess U.S. military land is transferred to Guam, and will form a White House-led task force to make sure the job gets done. Second, we must work together to help Guam build a strong modern economy for the 21st century. In the global economy, Guam can be an important gateway to Asian markets. Today, you face a dual economic challenge. The reduction of our military activities on this island has cost civilian jobs. At the same time, because of your close ties to your Pacific neighbors, like Hawaii, Guam has been more vulnerable than other parts of America to Asian financial woes. I am confident, however, that the people who weathered the high winds of Typhoon Paka with such courage and resilience can weather these economic storms as well. The federal government will do our part to help. We will aid Guam in transforming the Navy ship repair facility into a viable commercial operation. The return of the Naval Air Station will enable you to expand the airport, named for the late great Congressman Tony Wanpat, and embark on new ventures to bring new jobs and new prosperity. And to further boost your economy, I will work with Congress to make it easier for products made here in Guam to enter the mainland market. The third thing we must do is to make sure every child here is prepared for the 21st century. The Congressman and I fought hard until we finally succeeded in the very last days of this year's budget negotiations with Congress to ensure that the children of Guam receive a fairer share in the new Children's Health Insurance Program. Now thousands of children will get the health care they deserve. Fourth, we must work together to fulfill America's compact with the freely associated states. Thousands of Micronesians have come to Guam to live and work and build better lives for their families. In my next balanced budget, I will ask Congress to more than double funds to assist Guam in the task of meeting the education and health needs of these newcomers. Finally, and most important, we must always honor Guam's special membership in the American family. Our administration has reviewed your Commonwealth proposals. We have tried to offer viable alternatives. I want Congress to act to help the people of Guam meet their challenges and give you more effective self-government. We will also respond seriously if the people of Guam seek a different political status. It is your decision to seek that. I will work to ensure that your voices are heard in Washington, that you are treated fairly and sensitively by the federal government, that you are consulted before policies are made that affect your lives. I will establish a network of senior White House and cabinet officials to develop and coordinate policy concerning the territories. The Defense Secretary, Bill Cohen, will also designate an aide in his personal office to see Guam's concerns in military matters carefully and appropriately considered. In all these efforts and in the progress that we can still make together, again, I want to say I am deeply indebted to Governor Gutierrez for his eloquent and persistent advocacy. I am deeply indebted to Congressman Underwood for his energetic presentation of your cause. Never has Guam been so forcefully, consistently, and helpfully represented as they are today. All of you should be very proud of both of these elected officials. My fellow Americans, in just 403 days, our country will awake, first here on Guam, to a new century and a whole new millennium. Now, though we live on opposite sides of the earth, in that new millennium, still, with all of its changes, we will be bound together by our shared history, our shared values, our shared love of freedom. Whether our ancestors crossed the Atlantic on the Mayflower, whether they laid the ancient Leyte stones that still stand on this island, whether they came to Guam in recent decades seeking new opportunities, or came from all across the globe to the American mainland, now we are all Americans. I ask you to always remember that as much as you have enjoyed this day, I have enjoyed it more. I hope you will know that when I go back to Washington, I will carry with me the rhythms, the energy, the smile, the realities of life here that I would never have understood so well had I not been able to come. And I hope you will look forward to walking hand in hand with your fellow Americans into that new millennium. Thank you, and God bless you.